Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting edition of Your Two Dads with JJ and Deacon. We show up here every Monday through Friday. We drink coffee, and Deacon tells me what an absolute idiot I am.
Somebody's got to.
Yeah. Good morning. Yeah. That's Deacon. I'm JJ. Hey,
I get to tell JJ how big of an idiot he is, but I get to display how big of an idiot I am on the show.
Yeah.
So it kind of
there's a little bit of pre-show, like, I don't know why you think anybody's going to listen to this, JJ. I don't know.
Why are we doing it?
There must be an audience. It's like mining for gold, right?
Why don't we just make a phone call?
Yeah, that's the best comment ever.
For those that are, one of our very first comments that we got was, seems like this could just be a phone call.
Yeah, you guys could just call each other.
You're on it. You guys could just call each other. Well, that's great.
All right. Hey, thanks for watching. If this is the first time you showed up, I guess you ran out of internet, but here we are. We're going to talk about Project Veritas. We're going to talk about Woody Harrelson. We're going to talk about probably Joe Biden because, whatever. We're going to talk about the Chinese lab leak. Would you believe? We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff.
You can't call it that, Trumpite, MAGA person. You can't say that. That's
no.
You can't say that it's from a Chinese lab.
I'm not. I'm going to read the news.
Oh.
Okay. Good morning. If this is the first time you're watching the show, hit follow. Follow us on rumble.com/JJW. Leave a comment below. You can burn us in the comments, and then tomorrow we will read the comment where you burn us.
Tell me how ugly I am in the comments, and then we'll talk about it.
Make fun of my make fun of me. It's fine. Okay. I'm over on my book. I'm over on my bookstore website. I'm like, that's not news.
Yeah, JJ's got a comic book, so we have to indulge him for a minute.
I got a stack of comics. Deke, next time you're in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
That's actually not that far.
I know. Chattanooga, Tennessee.
It's far for British people, but it's not for Americans.
Yeah. Take a little pocket money and go dig through the comic bins of their old stuff, and you'll just find like gold. Okay. All right. That's it.
Nerd.
I know. So, Project Veritas, Deacon. Last week, Project Veritas, as you know, shit canned James O'Keefe. Yeah. They pushed him out of they pushed possibly the only investigative journalist in modern history out of the only investigative journalist organization.
No kidding. I mean, in modern history, there is no investigative journalist.
Name one other. Look, there's some great journalists out there. You got there's some really great journalists, but
I would even argue that there's not even any good journalists out there anymore.
There's some pretty good
I would argue that.
You got Matt Taibbi and the rest of the guys working on Twitter files. They're not ideologically aligned with you or me. They're basically just kind of like digging in there and exposing stuff that's like, hey, these things are people lying about this stuff. But James O'Keefe has made a career out of destroying liars, catching them in the lie, and then putting it on blast for the whole internet. So last week, Project Veritas. It wasn't exactly last week, but last week he left an ultimatum, and the board didn't concede, so James O'Keefe left, basically taking a huge chunk of credibility and reputation out of Veritas at the same time. So if you're still following Project Veritas, or if you are still a financial supporter of Project Veritas, understand that your money is no longer going to an organization that James O'Keefe is directing to destroy evil. It is now going to an organization that might be evil.
Right. They might have been like, screw this Project Veritas shit. We're buying this shit up and we're going to cancel it in the ground. And that might be what this all is, that they can't come out and say that. But they're hinting towards that. So what JJ is saying, that know where your money is now going. And if you would like to unsubscribe from them and subscribe to James and maybe move your money over there, like a lot of other people, including ourselves, have been doing, maybe you want to do that.
So I don't know what James's new mission is, but he does have like a tip email set up. Like I think it's like James O'Keefe at protonmail.com or something, or James O'Keefe tips at protonmail.com, something like that. So James is still doing his thing. He's just not doing it under the Veritas banner.
And it's harder to do this stuff now. He has a job that is harder to do every single time you do it. The very first time that he'd done this, it was easy to do. But after that, each consecutive time is going to be more difficult and more difficult because people are aware of what he is doing. And people are now more aware because I told you about that internal memo that Pfizer sent all of its employees and stuff. People are hyper aware of this stuff now. So you either have to change. James can't keep with the same playbook. He has to take the playbook. He has to take this sports playbook and throw it out and get a different sports playbook. You know what I mean? He's been going from the football playbook. He needs to now get the fucking water polo playbook and go by it in order to change tactics entirely.
David Buggum says, thanks for not saying move your money here to support your two dads. Honestly, it didn't even occur to us.
That was JJ. If JJ would have been saying that, that's what would have come out of his mouth.
Yeah, it never even occurred to me. But if you want to, I'm not going to stop you. It's your money. Do what you want. Light it on fire. Okay, so check this. But that's not all that's going on. First of all, immediately following the announcement that James O'Keefe was out,
right?
There started to be kind of like a Veritas revolt where Veritas followers and supporters were like, I'm not giving you money. I told you last week, there was a guy in one of the comments section that said to Veritas on one of their videos, not the James O'Keefe announcement, on one of their videos, he said, I have been given to Veritas for 12 years, the entire length of your organization. I've given over $20,000 in 12 years. And, and I am going to continue to support James. And basically he said, I'm not giving you guys any more money. And I don't know how many people that guy represents, but like that guy represents some number of people for sure. And look at this.
That's amazing.
Go ahead.
No, I just think that's amazing that people just throw that they give money that much money to stuff like that.
Well, if you got some loose change
and you want to got it, man. Yeah, gosh, I don't. That's an enormous amount of.
I got a debt chain over there, so I got to pay that off before I can like save the world with my nickels. This is Project Veritas on Social Blade. Now, Social Blade is not exactly like 100% accurate. It's very, very, very reliable for things like follower count, though. So you can see here this little graph right here. This is their This is their followers from February 2021 up until November 2022, and you see this little dip right here. And then this is probably when Elon Musk kind of took over Twitter, and there's a big purge of robots and fake followers or whatever. But right around here, and I realize this is very small. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Right around here, see this? This is when the Pfizer story broke. The Pfizer story that is basically they got a Pfizer, they catfished some Pfizer executive, and he was like, "Yeah, we're engineering COVID to like,
so that we can keep selling you." What us crazy tinfoil hat people were saying 2 years ago. Do you not think that they're like making new ones? They're changing a molecule so that they could re-release it next year, just like the flu comes back every year. You don't think, oh, it mutates? Yeah, they fucking do it. So they can keep selling you vaccinations every year. It's like
they want you to get your annual COVID shot. They want you to get your bi-quarterly.
And I said that
COVID booster.
COVID will never go away. You'll have to get your booster at CVS, just like you get your, and now shingles. You have to get. They're trying to make people our age think that shingles is the goddamn end of the fucking life for us. If we catch shingles, we're gonna die. Yeah. Have you seen those shingles commercials now that are out? They're targeted to people that are our age. You're going to die if you get shingles, so you better get a shot.
Well, I don't know. I don't know anything about shingles, but I do know this. I do know this. Yeah. Oh, I had chickenpox when I was a kid.
I did too. But it runs out. It runs the course of your. So they're saying now that it runs, you can get it again now. and it's deadly. So get your
So
vaccine.
So there was a peak in January, right as the Pfizer story broke, that Veritas got a bunch of new followers. They made a splash, big story, got a bunch of new followers. And of course, with anything, with any large organization, you get large enough uh, growth in followers, you're also going to grab a fraction of those that will become supporters for money. Well, then James O'Keefe comes out with his, hey, they screwed me over. They put him on 2-week suspension, and then there was a bunch of like rumor mills about what's going on, and then finally, James said, they pushed me out, and then boom, within from February 20th to 26th, so basically the last 6 days, Veritas has lost 318,000 followers. That's 2,000 more than when I made the title card. So Veritas is just bleeding support, and it's similar on their YouTube page. So they have a YouTube page. They have a couple of YouTube pages. They're also losing tons of YouTube followers. So call to action. If you guys are following Project Veritas on YouTube or on Twitter, make a difference. Unfollow those fucks. Let them know that that's not cool. That's not cool. Okay. Now, but that's not all. That's not all. Over the weekend, we had a powerful voice come out for the resistance. A powerful voice that said, "Oh no, you know what? I'm sorry, I can't segue yet, because that's not all that happened with Veritas." Veritas launched this little promotional video filmed internally. So basically, Veritas tried to punch back against this loss in publicity. They tried to punch back with this little promo video that said, "We stand by James O'Keefe's original vision." No James O'Keefe, but we stand by his vision. So they launched this video, and it didn't make it. It did not make a difference. People did not like this, and as a counterpunch, the O'Keefe camp released a little bit of a video, and I don't know if you saw this. Maybe you did. And here you can see it on postmillennial.com. You can see it on Twitter or whatever. I think something like 16 or 18 of the whistleblowers from Veritas. So 16 or 18 of their most important, most recognizable whistleblowers made one video, and they all said, "We stand with James O'Keefe." Every one of them. That was the message, the entire thing. We're talking the Google whistleblower, the Facebook whistleblower, the Twitter whistleblower. Everyone, all of them. The mail guy from the 2020 election, the guy that was like, I was driving a truck full of ballots. I don't know where it came from. So I'm not going to play the video, but here you can see Posobiec tweeting this video out. So now, if you don't know, the way that Veritas would work is basically they would get a guy on the inside. They would make contact with a whistleblower on the inside, and they would get the guy on the inside to expose the organization, to film a conversation, to provide info materials, to basically come out and say, this is what they're doing, and put their name on the line. That's what James O'Keefe and Veritas did. They're the most valuable assets for
just getting the truth. They were getting these people in a comfort zone, and they're using a tactic that the FBI and the police and stuff have used for years. But you get that person in a comfort zone. You make them think that you're your friend. Hell, that's a tactic that's been used with, I think Sun Tzu initially taught that tactic a long damn time ago in a little book called The Art of War. You know, your enemy is not your enemy. Your enemy needs to be your friend. Okay.
Right.
So they made their friend. And it's perfect. And yes, it's like you said earlier, there hasn't been investigative journalism in a long time in this country. Right. I don't think there's been any good investigative journalism in decades in this country. So that is why I think there is, there's so much emotion on either side for this type of work, be it Project Veritas or if it's anybody else that's doing this type of work. There's so much emotion. There's not really anybody that stands in the middle. You know, there's not very many people that stand in the middle. You're either very vehemently for it or completely against it. And I think that is because we haven't had it in decades. So those of us that are older are like, That is exactly what needs to be done to expose the truth. And we like this stuff, but there are a lot of younger folks and folks that maybe not experienced that in the past that are older that don't really get that. What is this? That's not fair. Blah blah. And I say younger
you
folks,
got
but that's a line that we used when we were younger. All right. Life's that's not fair is a line that you will never hear a fucking old person say. You'll never hear anybody over the age of 40 say life's not fair unless they're just whining and
unless
bitching.
they're like,
Because we know life isn't fair. Life
Yeah.
has kicked me in the balls so many times that what's the point of me going, life's not fair?
Yeah.
I know that shit. Life is not fair.
I mean,
so
I
that's
would really argue like life's not fair on purpose because, you know,
if it was, it wouldn't
because
be.
I honestly, I believe in God. I believe in God, and I believe that God's got a lot of missions for you in your life and me in my life and and everybody in the world, and we don't listen. And so we all need kind of like mild correction from time to time. So you're going to be put through all kinds of things in your life to get you where you need to be. And that's not going to be fun.
There's a for those of you that aren't Christians and maybe don't know the Bible, there is a story about what JJ is talking about life not being fair, and it's about a man named Job, not
Oh
Job,
yeah.
spelled J-O-B. His name is Job, and we encourage you to read about that or just go to any church around, because if you go to any church around, because these pastors anymore, they only have like 6 things to preach about. So they keep going over and over them over and over them again.
Okay.
So eventually you're going to get to the Job story. I have a problem with organized religion anymore because it's the same thing over and over again. I am spiritually dying when I go to church because I hear the same crap over and over regurgitated.
There's a lot of good resources out there. Maybe not in your town, which can be the real problem, right? Like in your town and your perimeter of travel, you may not have something that's right for you, but there's stuff out, there's places out there, people you can go.
You're exactly right.
Hey, David will preach for us. David's in the chat. He'll preach for us. And
I would drive to David's 3 hours away from me. And I'm still going to go to his church because I want to hear him preach. I told this to Ashley like a month ago or something. I was like, I am so spiritually like yearning for something because every time I go into church, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
That I have heard.
Hey, that means you gotta like shake it up and go somewhere else. You're being compelled to move.
I mean,
make a move.
When we go to these different churches, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Every time. I can tell you what part of the year it is into what sermon it's going to be. You know, it's not.
Well,
it's not spiritually satisfying.
There's a bunch of churches that put their sermons on YouTube. Like there's all kinds of, and there's some that are.
I've been looking at there's a completely different denomination that I think are a little loony. I'm not going to say what they are, but it's a denomination that I'm like, oh, that's a little crazy. What y'all think? But I've been watching some of their things on YouTube.
Is it Scientology? Because that's not Christianity.
No. It's a. I'm not going to say who. I'm not going
to
say.
All right, don't.
But one of the preachers preaches for our radio station, a show for our radio station, and he was telling me, hey, Andy, I think you will like this series that we're coming up on. It's about scientific stuff, and we have this series of people coming in that are talking about archaeological digs and what they have found in the past 20 years that proves this story in the Bible. And one guy was an astrologist that comes in that's talking about all these stars and stuff and whatnot and how it corresponds to the Bible. And it was a scientific thing, and it was a completely different. So that's the kind of stuff that opens me up more to hearing about how Noah made a big boat and got all the animals again. You know, I've heard that story 1,000 times. I don't want to hear it
again. You're out of the milk. You need to get some meat. Okay, let's move on.
All right, let's go to Woody. Let's go to Woody.
Yeah, okay, let's go to Woody. And is it this one? This tweet's under some Kanoka Substack. Here we go. For the first time in probably like 48 years. Whoops, wrong page. SNL did a joke on their show. I think this was scripted. So I think Woody pitched this and probably got a little pushback, and then they were finally like, "Yeah, okay, fine, whatever."
Absolutely, this was not off the cuff. No, if anybody thinks this was Woody came out there and surprised everybody with this, absolutely not. If you are reading it that way from a news article or a headline or something, this Lorne Michaels okayed this before
for sure.
Woody even walked out on the stage. I know how this stuff is done backstage. I'm a backstage entertainment person.
I think I can only think of like maybe one time. I think it was only Dave Chappelle. The only one that I can think of that came out. Dave, before we do this, let me tell this little story. Hang on.
No, I'll tell you when this stuff started. I'll tell you exactly when this shit started. It was when Sinead O'Connor ripped up the Pope's picture.
Oh yeah.
That was unscripted, and after that, they're like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, they're a lot more careful.
Yeah.
And then so about a year or two ago, Dave Chappelle hosted SNL, and he came out
last year.
Oh, it was last year. Yeah. And he did an entire set in rehearsal that was fake.
It was fake.
Yes, so that he could get on TV and like light him up, and that was amazing. So I mean, that's the type of commitment you have to be to get away with this. So this, and Woody didn't do that. So this is scripted.
Yeah, this was scripted, but you knew what was going to come out of this because Woody is one of these people, and he doesn't care, and he'll say, and he doesn't care if Hollywood's going to blacklist him or not. He doesn't care. And what happened? Let's watch it first. And then
let's watch it. Here we go.
What we thought the repercussions that would happen happened almost instantly.
This is from the opening monologue. Here we go.
Okay, so the movie goes like this. The biggest drug cartels in the world get together and buy up all the media and all the politicians.
Yeah, let me turn it.
So what he's doing, he starts weird. What he's doing is he's giving his little monologue, and he's talking about how he's going into a bit, and he's talking about how I just recently gave up a movie. I was looking at a movie script, and I had to turn down this movie script. It's the beginning of this joke, okay? It's how they go
in the world get together and
so
buy up
go back
all
to the beginning.
So the movie goes like this. The biggest drug cartels in the world get together and buy up all the media and all the politicians and force all the people in the world to stay locked in their homes. And people can only come out if they take the cartel's drugs and keep taking them over and over. I threw the script away. I mean, who is going to believe that crazy idea? Okay,
go back.
Oh my gosh. Look back. Right. Hold on. Look right here. Look at her. See this woman right here? She is grimacing. She's like, "Oh my God, is it going to be bad?"
Go back about 15 seconds. Go back about right there. Listen for the first. Okay, I want to point this out because it's very hard to hear.
Yeah.
Listen, it's complete silence in the background. I do not want you listening to Woody. I want you listening to the background silence. Okay. I want you listening to the silence. Don't listen to Woody. You're going to hear this: a woman going. Ah! She's going to go.
Okay.
Ah!
All right.
Like she caught herself, and then you're going to hear a couple more people start to go like they're stifling a laugh because they're afraid of what everybody else is going to judge them.
Listen and watch this woman's face too.
Okay.
Yeah, watch her. Here we go.
Take the cartel's drugs and keep taking them over and over. I threw the script away.
I heard the squeak.
Okay, there that one was, because you can hear some people shuffling sometimes. I listen for crap like that because that's what I listen for. I'm a voice guy, and I listen for background junk.
He's got, you can tell it's a script too. He's reading it right off a cue card.
Yeah, he's reading it right off the card.
Watch her face, because I think this is a producer. I don't think she's either a producer or a musician. I don't know if she's supposed to be on camera, but she is listening. She is listening to the monologue like intensely.
I mean, who is going to believe that crazy idea? Okay, so
Woody Harrelson, with the blessing of SNL, takes a big old swipe at Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and the rest.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? What does that mean? Does that mean the worm has turned and finally the mainstream liberal left is now like coming out and joining us against the chemical domination by the drug companies.
Okay, so you might have to. I don't know if I can enlarge this any more than it already is. Hang on.
Oh, that image.
Does that make it bigger on your screen side?
Yeah, that's readable.
Okay.
That's readable.
Hang on, let me go a little bit more. Okay, so this was immediate. Look, Rolling Stone, Woody Harrelson spreads anti-vax conspiracies during SNL monologue.
Yeah.
I don't know what that one was.
That's Daily Beast. That's Daily Beast.
Yeah. Woody Harrelson spews anti-vax conspiracies in rambling SNL monologue. Huffington Post, Woody Harrelson rambles about weed, anti-vax conspiracy in SNL monologue. Woody Harrelson's Saturday Night Monologue makes COVID conspiracy jokes.
Immediately the establishment comes out to defend the establishment, right?
You knew it was going to happen, so that should tell you how biased. Musicians, I know you're not a music person, but music people have not read Rolling Stone for decades. So that Rolling Stone is not a music magazine. It's not a music publication or a music whatever magazine or whatever they're calling them anymore, because magazines are dead. So who cares? Yeah. Rolling Stone's always been a left liberal crazy. It started off good, but it lost over the years.
Their biggest stuff was like embedding gonzo journalists and, sending them out to
and that's where Rolling Stone got lost, is over the years. In the 80s and 90s, it started doing they started needing content because they didn't have enough music content to fill their rag. So they started doing other stuff, and that other stuff got them, some of it was really good, to be honest, and that. So every one of these are left-leaning liberal publications. Yeah. So you wouldn't expect anything. I wanted to go to this, whoever this is, and go and see who I see that it's a target. Oh, okay. I was wanting to see, I was like, what did Elon say? But he hit the target, is what he's saying. Okay.
Oh yeah. Bullseye.
Those emoji crap. I've got to go.
All right. See, I don't know if he has something else he wants to say about Pfizer, about Pfizer, about the drug companies. I will say this: I don't think that SNL has changed teams. I think they're just kind of like batting in the middle. I don't think Bill Maher has changed teams. I think he just realizes that, the current status quo now leans a little too far in favor of Pfizer and, government hegemony.
I think
so he'll push back a little bit, and then you'll be like, yes, we're winning the culture war. And then you'll keep going and they will stop.
In Bill Maher's instance, I've thought about this before. I think something has made him see the light. Because he was so
child mutilation going on with the
pedophile Jeffrey Epstein shit.
Gender affirming surgeries and all of that stuff. I think that's what it is. He was like, hold on, our side's a little bit crazy right now.
Yeah, he saw the light, and he's like, oh, I'm defending the crazy asses over here. So he's still he's seeing more and more of the way that we think.
But he still definitely thinks that you're a dummy.
Yeah. He still thinks that I'm a dumbass, and it's like the left is his binky, and he still wants. It's a comfort to him. It's a comfort to him.
This is what I'm saying.
He don't want to give it up so easily.
They are not rallying to the resistance. They are just like pushing back on the fringe a little bit so that the equilibrium can be reestablished, and they can continue making jokes about you and your dumb red hat and your
I used to when I was in my early 20s, I was that way. I look back on it now like, yes, I was that way, because I used to say Rush Limbaugh was the dumbest person on earth, and oh my God, he's so evil and whatnot. And then I had somebody one time be like, why don't you like Rush Limbaugh? I'm like, I just don't like him because he blah, 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 and he lies. And like, have you ever listened to Rush? And I was like, I've listened to him. They're like, have you really listened to him, or you just... And I thought, no, I've never really listened to him. I never really listened to Rush. All I was doing in my early 20s was parroting what somebody else had said. Rush sucks. That's right. Rush sucks.
And recognizing that Rush had mainstream center right like support, so he was not establishment, but he had a lot of people in support of him, right? And so to rebel, to push back against the status quo as a young man, you push back against whatever is popular, especially if it's unpopular, because that's how you can raise your profile as a dissenting voice and, really fight for truth, justice, and
human adolescence is rebelling. It's like I told my kids the other day, I was like, you think this rebelling is a new concept? You are sadly mistaken. You are sadly mistaken. But yes, I ended up studying about Rush and finding out that he was from a town that is very close to me. Cape Girardeau, Missouri is very close to me. And I'm like, oh, Rush is from Cape. So I started listening to him, and he changed my complete outlook when I actually paid attention to what he was saying. And I've told people, if you could get past the fact that Rush thought that he was the greatest thing alive, then
that was a character, bro.
That was his character. He was just a pompous ass, and you just had to get past that. And once you got past, Rush, he's a pompous asshole, but everything that he said was almost correct.
Yeah. And the things you never heard about him were how much he supported charities and was doing things to help other people. You never heard of that.
There's a guy that does it now. His name's Bo Snerdley. Do you know Bo Snerdley?
I've heard didn't he used to be like the sound engineer or something like that?
He used to be Rush's sound engineer. His name is something else. Bo Snerdley's a radio.
Yeah, right. He's a character
name.
Name.
But he used to be a sound engineer, and there was an interview with Bo that I was watching where he was talking about Rush because Rush's passing's anniversary is not too long ago. And I'm a radio guy. Rush was a radio guy. It's a big thing. He was an enormous radio presence.
Rush Limbaugh took Nothing Radio back to the top of media in that kind of
radio. In the radio world, he's a king. Okay. He just is, whether you agree with what he said or not. But Bo was talking about how when he was a young man and a young producer, how he was talking on a phone call somewhere in the office. And he was talking about how he was about to get something repossessed because he didn't have the money to pay for it. And Rush called him into his office a little bit later and was like, man, I wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but are you okay? And he was like, yeah, I'm fine, blah, blah, blah. And Rush finally got out of him this guy that he owed like $5,000 on this thing as a young man in his 20s or something like that. And so what did you think he done? Rush, like 2 or 3 days later, was like, here, man, I took care of this for you and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, you don't have to do that. And Rush like, look, I don't want you don't tell anybody I did this, but you are good at your job and you do this. And I appreciate people like you and I want you to succeed, and you shouldn't be forced onto your face over $5,000, something that I can easily redeem. So here you go. And I hope, and look where he's at today.
Yeah.
Well, it's stories like that people that you don't hear, that you think, oh, Rush Limbaugh was a bastard. Well, you don't know, man.
You got no idea, dude.
There's a lot of things that people do, and they don't want other people to know that they done them. I'm one of these people that if you'll notice, I don't have any freaking social media except Twitter. And the only reason I have Twitter is because of the UMCOC podcast. Is the only reason.
I accidentally renewed.
I don't like to brag. I think it's freaking
Unfortunately, that's the number one way to build like a
in
brand.
This world. I know
you got to talk about
brag on yourself, and it's hard for me to get voice jobs because I don't brag on myself. I think that's a character flaw.
Especially if you're hunting gigs like that, you got to walk around and be like, well, I did this and I did this and I did this and I did this.
What kind of voice do you want? Do you want a wacky cartoon voice? I can do them all. Not today. That hurt.
All right. Okay, but wait, there's more. From the New York Post, Chinese lab leak likely behind COVID outbreak, says the U.S. Energy Department. So
you can't say that, you MAGA Trump bastard.
2.5 years ago, if you said this, you would be ostracized from society, canceled on Facebook, by Twitter. You would have lost any internet accounts. They would have locked you down. They'd be like, we can't talk about this. We can't
Do
talk about
you
it. The
think
Chinese
Twitter
lab leak.
would
That's a
ban me?
conspiracy theory.
Do you think Twitter would ban me today if I posted that on my Twitter account?
No, I don't think so. Not today. I mean, Twitter still has some subversives employed there, and they still ban people. I tell you what, you could get maybe banned if you said Eliza Blue's a lying hack. You could say that. Hey, she's a fake survivor, employing or using a fake women's survivor story to gain internet clout. You might get banned for that, but on Twitter, but you're not going to get banned for saying this. And I'm not saying she is. I'm just saying I heard. Chinese lab leak likely behind the outbreak, says the U.S. Energy Department. The virus that causes COVID-19 most likely leaked from a Chinese laboratory, which is exactly what I was saying, and all of the crazy people on the right were saying.
That's
like,
what the Orange Man was saying.
Were like,
Trump was saying this, so it had to be wrong. The Orange Man is always wrong, JJ.
Literally, they were like, COVID broke out from Wuhan, but it was from a meat market. Wuhan, right there where they have like a level 3 bio facility, it accidentally broke out there. Yeah, we think it was people eating a bat.
And Trump was calling it the Wuhan flu. No.
Yes,
so you're telling me that maybe Trump had information that we and everybody else in the goddamned media didn't fucking have? And maybe he was trying to tell us and maybe save some fucking lives instead of whatever you thought he was trying to fucking do, because I still hadn't figured it out. I'm not smart enough. I'm so stupid that I'm not smart enough to figure out half the crap that you left complain about. That's how dumb I am. So I still had to figure out why you hated Trump for saying that so much.
It was the most common sense thing in the world. You're like, oh, there's a bio facility that the United States is paying China to work on gain of function research. We have all of that on documentation. And then a super flu breaks out and kills millions of people around the world.
No,
and it's like, it came from a bat. They had a bat out of a meat market. Come on,
That's
dude.
how dumb they think we are.
No, you know what's dumb is that we bought it. We didn't buy it.
No, we didn't buy it. But you get to see it's a beautiful highlighter of society is something like this, because it instantly highlights all of the stupid people, and you realize real quick, oh my God, so-and-so was I've known so-and-so since high school, and they believe like that. Ooh, delete. It's easy for you to delete those people from your life now.
Yeah. How many people canceled you on Facebook or whatever because you proposed this theory? I mean, Fauci spent probably a year denying it. There's no evidence that it came from a lab.
That son of a bitch needs to freaking be brought up on charges, man. I don't understand why people freaking loved him so much. They obviously didn't know anything that he did decades ago either.
Yeah, well,
I understand.
Okay, so this was like no duh for like the majority of one segment of the population. We were like, yeah, no duh. That's what we're saying. Chinese lab leak. Was it intentionally deployed? We don't know. Was it somebody
maybe not
effing around and dropped a vial in oopsie doopsie and made a mistake? That could have happened too. It's very likely. Yeah. We don't know exactly the details, but we know it came out of that fucking facility. So,
yeah, that's
stunning
all,
assertion.
That's all we were saying is that it came out of this facility. It wasn't because somebody ate a bat from a market. Don't think we're not stupid, okay? It came from the facility. We don't know how, but it came from there. And when Trump says the Wuhan flu and the Chinese flu and all that, he was not wrong.
Right. Yeah. No, all of the opposition was a hoax. All of it that was denying that was a hoax. Now, a hoax is not a total fabrication. A hoax is something to get you to believe something so that you're not looking close at the details.
That's it. That's the key right there, JJ. You said it. You said it right there at the end, so that you will not look close at the details.
Oh,
That's
and I'll
the
give you
key
that.
to magic. That's the key to a magician. In order to perform magic, I have to make sure that you are not paying close attention to the details. So I use different tricks to get you to not pay attention to the details. And they do the same thing. They're doing the same thing.
It was, I think it was Dr. Fauci's NIH that granted funding for gain of function research to I forget the name of the company right now, but basically the NIH granted funding for gain of function research to a independent private company. So they just gave them money and that where they worked in China. This was all about money. It was originally about money. It got out of hand. A product of the United States government got developed and oopsie doopsie released and killed millions of people. This has always been about covering up the money trail and escaping liability. That's what it has always been about. Oh, and in the process, making you stay home and get used to your leash and muzzle, people. Get used to being a servant of the state.
This is where I take it a step further and say, there's a part of me that wants to say that it was done intentionally. And then there's a part of me that says that it was done accidentally. And then they looked at the repercussions and said, what can we use the repercussions? How can we use this? But I honestly believe that our way of electing officials in this country was systematically changed with the COVID. All right. So the way that we do elections in this country has been changed because of the COVID virus. And now we do it differently now. Okay.
Well,
people might not understand that we do it differently now, but we do.
When you're making an omelet, you break a little eggs and then you enslave humanity.
So people understand that this isn't this is crazy me, crazy Andy. This is how I believe they have changed the way that we elect people in this country in order to more easily put someone into power. They've always had the ability to put whoever into power that they wanted most of the time, but this now makes it a lot easier to put whoever they want, whatever marionette on stage, to put on stage without the public, knowing what happened.
Due to the excuse of 2020 of pandemic, we had extensive emergency mail-in ballots, universal ballots mailed out without being asked for in some places. So basically, they could canvass a larger area and have lower thresholds for ensuring that the ballots that were returned were from citizens or were not sent out twice. So they used the pandemic in order to broaden these powers because they know that it's like George Carlin's joke, right? Think about how smart the average person is, and then remember that half of the people are dumber than that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So when you have a larger net and go more people vote, send these ballots out, you're not getting higher quality decisions from the voters. You're getting more of the dumbest decisions that are susceptible to pressure, susceptible to simple messaging, susceptible to other kinds of things. So yeah, absolutely. They changed the way that the power is allocated in the United States. Never let a good crisis go to waste. The assertion by the Energy Department comes more than a year after the FBI concluded a lab accident in China was the origin of the disease, which killed more than 6.8 million people around the world, including 1.1 million United States citizens. The FBI's decision was made with moderate confidence and remains the Bureau's opinion, said the Wall Street Journal, which first reported the Energy's own finding on Sunday. By contrast, the Department of Energy made its determination with low confidence. Sources who've read the classified report told the Journal. So the Department of Energy is like, well, we're low confidence. No, they know where it came from. You know where it came from. We all know where it came from. Okay, that's it.
All right, I got a story.
Right? Yeah.
How much it's now February 27th. All right.
Yeah.
How much this year have you given to Ukraine? And be honest.
Oh.
Be honest with us here on the radio, on the wherever we're at. Rumble. Be honest, JJ. How much have you personally given to Ukraine?
By proxy or directly? Myself?
Directly.
Oh, directly.
And your household.
Not one dime. Not one dime.
Zelensky's
not one dime. I know.
Zelensky
I heard about that.
He doesn't like
talking shit about me the other day on the media.
Much support to Ukraine. What would your message be on the anniversary to those?
That's a really nice set that he's on. The stage, the backdrop looks really, really nice. I wonder who paid. I wonder who paid for that set dressing.
Raise your hand, JJ.
Oh, it's me. I paid for this. Okay, go on.
Much support to Ukraine. What would your message be on the anniversary to those Americans? Thank you.
Those Americans that have given how much money to Ukraine so far? How many $100 billion?
I think it's 100. It was 100, but I think Joe and he gave that half billy last week, but I think it's up to like 110. We're trying to get 110.
Like America's given $110 billion to this.
And you remember how much they gave to East Palestine, where like a toxic train dump polluted a town and basically destroyed it.
That's in our country. So here we go.
Yeah.
I would like to thank the American people.
Okay.
I would like to thank all of the American people that are supporting Ukraine, the Congress, the president, the TV channels, the journalists, and everyone that has been supporting us.
Okay.
Hang on there, Zen. We as Americans, because JJ and I are Americans, and I think I speak for JJ when I say this, and probably a lot of people that are listening, I think I speak for them. We as Americans are heartbroken and disgusted that this is happening to your innocent citizens, all right? And the children and the people that are just trying to live their lives like us. We're heartbroken and disgusted. And yes, we want to help those people. But not you, because you and your fucking regime don't care about anything but money, and you don't care about anything but laundering this bullshit with your buddies over here in our country. You don't care about your own people. You don't. Okay.
This guy, I mean, like, I know some. I don't personally know any Ukrainian people, but I know people that are married to Ukrainian people, so I know by like one degree or whatever. I feel very bad for her family, that had to relocate, that were driven out of their home, and their neighbors and their friends, and people lost their homes, lost their farms, lost their lives, lost their children, lost their parents. It's awful. It is the worst thing in the world. I deeply grieve, especially in that time, especially when it initially started, deeply grieve for the people that had so much taken from them by Russia deciding to mud stomp Eastern Ukraine.
And I would give those people the shirts off of my back. They could have my bed, my food, my water. I will give those people everything. I will offer it to them freely, but not him and not them.
But you know what I'm saying? But we are. This is another. Another event of like tragedy that was used by those in power to get more power. Hey, oh no, Ukraine's at war. Let's send money that we might get a cut. Let's send bombs, and then we can sell more bombs.
Let me get through this. I got a minute.
Yeah. Go.
And that percentage of Americans, as you've mentioned, is increasing. I can tell them only one thing. If they do not change their opinion, if they do not understand us, if they do not support Ukraine, they will lose NATO. They will lose the cloud.
I started to say, okay,
Fuck NATO.
That's actually a good.
How about we stop paying for NATO?
What else? What else bonuses are we getting here?
Yeah.
Of the United States, they will lose the leadership position that they are enjoying in the world.
We probably need to. We probably need to lose the leadership position that we have.
Let's go.
Because I'm sick of being everybody's big brother. I'm sick of taking care of every fucking body. Y'all are big enough. Y'all brag at how awesome your fucking countries are and how shitty America is all the time. Yeah. You know what? Take care of your fucking self then. I'm sick of giving you money when you're talking shit about us all the fucking time. I mean, I get on Reddit and I read that shit on there, and they talk shit about Americans all the time and talk about how great their country is. That's awesome. I am so happy for you. Fucking stop taking our money then. I can't hear you.
I hear it.
That they are joined for a very fair reason, and they will lose the support of the country with 40 million of population, with millions of children. Are American children any different than ours?
What the hell is
Don't Americans enjoy the same things as we do? I don't think we're that different.
Oh, he's trying to fucking pander now. Okay. It's not that we're not caring, Zen. It's not that we're not caring.
Let's see. I believe that I have here. Yeah. Let me show you something. Yeah, he's basically saying if we don't help him, it's the end of the world. Look at this. This right here. This is from IFW Kiel DDs. This is some German tracker. This is a track of assistance to Ukraine. The United States has given billions of euros in cash and humanitarian aid. And look at this. We have given more military assistance,
So who do you think Russia is going to attack for helping Ukraine the most?
Yeah, the United States has given more military assistance than every other country or group of countries combined. The United States has given practically more money than every other country or group of countries combined. Look at this. The United Kingdom. The United Kingdom gave them like $3 billion. We gave them $25 billion. And this is not even, this is only from January of last year to January of this year. We've given way more than that, we've given more than $25 billion. I know that. We've provided over $100 million, not all cash. So probably a lot of it is in military aid. So for him to take a swipe, he's taking a swipe at you, America. He says, hey, you're not giving enough. I need more money. I need more money. I need more money. I got to fight this war for you. I got to fight this war for you to protect freedom and democracy. And not a good guy. And remember, Zelensky was the president. When Joe Biden, I'm pretty sure it was Zelensky was the president when Joe Biden, as vice president, went to Ukraine and said, hey, if you don't fire that prosecutor, then you're not going to get $1 billion. And, you're not going to get $1 billion. Trump asked Zelensky to look into that because it looked a little fishy. It looked like a quid pro quo. It looked like Joe Biden was using American dollars to force the government of Ukraine to get rid of a prosecutor that was investigating the company that employed his son.
He wouldn't do that though, would he? That's Joe. I mean, he's a nice.
So Trump asked Zelensky, and Zelensky never did it. Never cleaned that situation up. And we know, I know I believe that Joe Biden and the Biden crime family, and not just Joe Biden, there's probably a lot of politicians on both sides, Democrats and Republicans, were sending money to Ukraine and getting a little bit back in scratch, getting a little bit money back.
You don't think Mitch McConnell's making money off this fucking war either? You don't think Republicans are making money off this war either? It's very easy for me to go, okay, JJ, here's what we're going to do for the show. And on Tuesday morning, February 28th show, okay? Since we've shut off the cameras and we've stopped the show. Tomorrow, I am going to bring up this topic on this, and I want you to say, you're going to be against it. I'm going to be for it. We're going to get into this. We're going to get into this tiff, okay? And then I'm going to say blah, blah, blah. And when I do that, you are going to respond this way. We are going to, and then we're going to carry this out for a couple of weeks on the show. All right. We're going to
Oh, okay.
and it's like we're forced to work together.
We'll have a what do they call it? What do they call it when you do that? Where it's like a fake war, a little fake media war.
Yeah, and see if it could bring us some
get some attention that way. Yeah, that's a good idea. We need something fake to fight about, and then very publicly and vehemently take these positions.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
it works.
We can talk about the
trick that we've been using for years.
You got 2 minutes left. Let's hang off on the AI taking over our jobs.
I might not be here tomorrow. Ashley's been fighting a cold for a week, and on the way to work this morning, I coughed and I could feel it in my throat, and I thought to myself, "Oh no, I'm getting it."
Let me throw you a little bone. Go to I think it's 11 Labs. 11labs.com. I think it's 11 Labs.
Do they have a vaccine?
No, they got this thing. You upload like 3 seconds of your voice, and you've got hundreds of hours of your voice. Upload 3-4 seconds of your voice, maybe a minute of your voice, and then it'll be able to fully replicate your voice, tone, pitch, everything. So whichever, and then if your throat's not feeling too good, you can use the 11 Labs voice, and you can just type out your script and boom, do your radio job without even.
How long of a clip of a voice do you need?
3 seconds.
That's it in order to replicate that voice?
Yes. They did it with Joe Rogan. They did it with Joe Rogan's voice, and Joe Rogan has this, very, very recognizable.
My brother sent me a video last month that he found in his phone, and it has mom on it, and it has her talking, and it has my mom laughing 3 or 4 times in the video. So my mom's passed away, for those that don't know. So I took that video and I took the audio off the video, and I took her laugh and I isolated her laugh, and I put it on a single track, and I sent it to my brother, and I was like, dude, here's mom laughing. That if you ever want to hear, you can press this and you can hear mom's little chuckle that she did. And I told him, I was like, if you can find more video, because I don't have any. It's like, if you can find more video of mom, I said, there's this vocal AI, and I didn't know what it was called. I said, there's a vocal AI. I said, I just want to hear mom say, like, I love you, son. If I could have, I love you, son. Again, that would be great.
Yeah. If you can find it's literally seconds. It doesn't take very long at all.
I've got it on my phone right here.
Yeah. If you have her talking in any way, you have any messages of her talking.
That's awesome.
Like voicemail or something?
No, I thought I did, because I always had some voicemail messages or something. It was like, hey, bub, this is mom. Call me back. And I don't. I must have deleted them all over the years. I always thought I had 1 or 2 and they're saved. So that's cool. That's very cool. So that's for somebody else that is in the same boat as me. If you have a loved one that's passed on and you have a video or have some clip or something of their voice, you could get this. And it looks like it's pretty cheap, $5 a month for creation
for that.
And publish more content.
Or it's free if you're just playing around.
Yeah, create up to 3 custom voices.
So maybe we'll check this out and we'll play around with it tomorrow and we see if we can, mess around. But I mean, like, long term, this is very scary, especially if you're like,
it's scary in the sense that we've got the AI mess and the deep fakes and all that mess. But can it really? I mean, it can.
Let's play with it.
It can. No, I don't want to do it right now. I've got to go.
Okay, not right now. Not right now.
It's got we can play with it this week, but I have a wide range of voice. I don't always talk in this pitch right here.
Right.
Sometimes when I get in by announcer voice, I go down here, and sometimes I'll just, it doesn't matter. So talking has a wide range. It's melodic.
You have more art to what you can do, right? But if you have a voice, like a voice, then, like, for instance, James Earl Jones, you could upload a James Earl Jones like voice and Morgan Freeman. A Christopher Walken. Oh my God, Christopher Walken. That sounds hilarious. Yes, let's do it.
I don't know if it could get.
Let's do Christopher Walken doing Jerry Seinfeld jokes. That'd be amazing.
What is the deal with airplane food? God.
All right. So that's all we got. And that's not all we got, but that's all we're going to do today. We'll talk about we got some other stuff tomorrow. If you haven't already, please hit like, subscribe, follow the channel on rumble.com/JJW or on youtube.com/whatever. Links in the description below. And it came from China. It came from Wuhan.
It was a bat. I ate a bat.
I'm gonna go get a bat burger.
Oh no, Bye. We're ending the
Oh no, I thought you were saying something right at the end.
We're ending the show with our dad joke, remember? We never JJ, we couldn't figure out how to end the joke, and I told him we got something new. We're ending the show with the dad joke. God.
Hang on. I get you got one?
I've got plenty. All right.
Go ahead.
So if you want to send in your dad jokes to us, nothing not safe for work. These are dad jokes. These are jokes you should be able to tell to your kids and get an eye roll. Okay? So they're dad jokes. So we're ending. This is your dad joke.
I got a war joke. You ready?
Okay. You go in and I'll tell one.
All right. Two fish are in one tank.
Yeah.
One says to the other, "How do you drive this thing?"
You know what my grandfather said right before he kicked the bucket? Watch how far I can kick this bucket.
Okay. If you guys want more of this, make sure to, if you guys do not want dad jokes, you got to leave a comment in the description below. Otherwise, we're going to keep doing it.
You're getting dad jokes.